Okie dokie. So a bit out of necessity, I'm going to show y'all how to make a hand plow. Now, what a hand plow basically is it's more or less a cultivator blade on the end of a handle. Additionally, an alternative to this would be a wheel plow. And I'm probably going to end up building one of those too, but that'll be a different video. For this one, I'm going to show you how to build a hand plow because there's tons of stuff out there on how to build a wheel plow. Well, maybe not build, but you can buy wheel plows. It's really hard to get a proper hand plow for what I want. Because I'm special needs or something. I don't know. I require something that nobody else is apparently offering. But anywho, I've got two ideas in my head, and we're going to go with this one first, and then we're going to go to that one second. We're going to see which works, but first off, I'm going to just kind of give you a brief explanation of what I'm trying to do here and how I plan to go about it, so that you can think about it and you can decide which one of these works better for you. Now, the first thing I'm going to try is I have this old hoe handle, which was just one of those little cheapy combination garden rake plus garden hoe head things that I just mangled and bent, destroyed, and completely ripped the blade off of because I'm very brutal on my hand tools. And it's just been lying around, been using it for, like, I don't know, poking dead bodies and stuff. And I have a couple cultivator blades that I stole from my uncle's tractor shed that have been just laying out in the dirt for however many decades. And my plan is to just pretty much throw a washer on the back end of this and run a big lag bolt through it, pull this carriage bolt out, and just bolt that right to the end of it, and then probably come back in and trim these wings off and do a little bit of grinding, sharpen these up, and maybe bend this over if I need to, or build some kind of jig that'll allow me to modify the angle. But my basic plan for the moment is just to bolt that to the end of that and then test it, see if it works. The angle is not going to be right, but I just want to see if it'll work in concept, and if it does, then modify that blade substantially, because it's going to take a lot of metal work to bend that and engineering to cobble something on the end of that to keep it secure, and see if I can get this to just work as is, simple enough without having to spend pretty much any money and just, you know, wasting time beating on two pieces of scrap. And secondly, if that doesn't work, I want to modify this cheap garden hoe that I bought to replace another cheap garden hoe that I broke. And then I eventually replaced this with a 5-foot cotton hoe, which ended up being far superior to what I was trying to do. So I've just got this lying around and I don't use it for practically anything. So I'm wondering if I can do a little bit of metalworking and modify this head into a plow head, which, if I could do that, would probably work better than that. But I don't really want to accidentally mess up the hoe because I have a feeling that that cast iron head right there is not going to want to be worked unless I can get it red hot, and I don't really have a forge set up. I just have some map gas and a couple bricks. So we'll see. However, before I get too far ahead of myself, what I'm basically doing is I'm trying to make a little triangle on the end of a stick that I can drag through those raised beds or drag through that no-till cover crop plot and just cut a furrow, because that has been very difficult. Well, it's really backbreaking to do it in these beds when you're doing it at scale, and it's a real pain in the neck to go through a no-till plot like that, especially when you have when I planted those summer cover crops, I was trying to cut furrows through basically a stand of barley and rye that was thicker than otter hair, and it was a pain. I had to go in there with a cotton hoe at a perpendicular angle, cut a line all the way across the bed, then come back with a six-pound split maul and cut the furrow and then drag it in just to have a decent seed bed. And the whole time I was doing that, because it took me like 4 hours to do, all I could think was, I really, really wish I just had a plow head on the end of a stick. And then when I went and searched to buy one, I couldn't really find one. There's like one made by Ames that's basically what I was talking about with that, but it's like $40 and it comes with 2-foot handle. So, and I have no idea what the steel quality is. It may just be cheap pot iron. I go out there and try and drag it through there, hit a root, and snap it off, and there went, you know, $40 on the head, and, you know, another $20-30 on having to go buy a 5-foot hickory handle. So yeah, so that's the thing. I would rather just cobble something together real quick and prove that the concept works before I go out and spend any more money, because I have a bad habit of spending money on hand tools that end up having no use. So these right here are cultivator blades for tractor, and you have a whole bunch of these on a rack back behind the tractor, and you can change the pitch and angle and all that stuff with the 3-point mount. And these just get dragged behind the tractor, and these are either used for disking up a field or plowing up, you know, the top layer of the soil, or you can have just a couple of them out there cutting furrows for someone to come back behind you and plant, or you can have like a drill or a seed dropper somewhere back behind that to plant behind you. With these guys, it's going to be a little difficult getting it mounted to a handle because they're not light. Well, I guess it's maybe like 10 ounces. It's not horrible. I'm hoping that extra oomph will be good for pulling through the soil. But when you're making a hand plow, you want to modify and specialize the blade to your exact purpose. I am on an incredibly sandy soil. I mean, it's 98% sand. I did a test. So I need a wide blade that cuts fairly deep because my soil is just going to fall right back into the hole right behind me. So I'm going to have to cut like, if I want a 2-inch furrow, I'm going to have to cut like 3.5 inches in the ground because it's just going to slough right off the sides and fill that thing pretty much all the way back up. If you're on like a really hard packed clay soil, you could probably just drag a railroad spike on the end of a stick through it, and you'd probably just cut perfect 90-degree angles in the dirt. You wouldn't need to do all this, but because I've got sandy soil, I really need something that can just push the dirt out of the way, which is why I'm going with one of these cultivator blades. Your mileage may vary. But my basic plan with this is to just trim these wings back to something, that is below the handle of the blade, because the blade's going to be here, so there's no point in having it up here because it's never going to dig that deep. And I'm never going to be cutting that deep. And then just clean it up, and maybe I might need to heat this thing red hot and bend these a little bit further over, maybe get more of a point in here, because at the moment it's pretty blunt, and I ain't pulling this behind 60 horsepower. I've got 1 manpower. So yeah, hopefully this works, because it'll be a lot cheaper and a lot less work probably. Secondly, the other option is I'm going to take this guy, drill out this rivet, pull this head out, heat it up mostly red hot, take that head, stick it on the corner of something hard metal and with a 90-degree bend in it, or probably a vise, and then just smack it with a 3-pound hammer, fold it, flip it over, fold it the other way, and get a 90-degree bend like this in the end of it, and then come back in with an angle grinder and cut these corners off like that, or potentially heat it back up and fold those corners under like that, so that they're just about touching the back of the blade, maybe for a little bit more reinforcement, because I have a feeling that blade tip's going to bend a lot. It'll make sharpening it a lot harder if I do that, but might be worth it, might not be. We'll see when we get there. But I don't know how that metal is going to handle that kind of abuse, but we shall see. But that would be a much more straightforward option. So we'll see if that works. Additionally, like I was touching on with the sand and clay soils, the angle that this head is going to be really depends on your soil type and what you're trying to do. It seems I'm always trying to cut like 3 inches deep on a really sandy soil. So I'm probably going to have like a 120-degree angle up here. And additionally, I'm probably going to bend this back a little bit steeper so that it really digs down, because this angle like that determines how much it digs when you pull or when you push down on it. The steeper that angle, the harder it digs, which means the harder you're going to have to pull it. So if you bend it back, it's not going to dig as much, and so it basically allows you to turn pulling force into downward force, or vice versa. If you don't want it to dig a lot, you make it pretty straight, and then you just put more pressure if you want it to dig. If you want it to dig a lot and you need to pull it hard, then you do it the other way, and then you can convert it into linear force rather than downward force, because it's really hard to apply downward force on a handle. Going back to the curve of the blade, if you're on real heavy clay soil, you can probably bend this thing at like a 60-degree angle like that, and work just fine for you. Me, very sandy soil, probably going to go with a 120. Most of y'all, 90 would probably be a really good place to start. That's what I'm going to start with. And if that doesn't work, you just bend it back. Additionally, you can get all fancy with how you shape it. You can, make it a curve like that. Get in there. If you got a lot of metalworking tools and you're real experienced, you could bend the blade like this, so that instead of bending the whole thing like that, you just bend the blade, which then determines how much it drags and all that. But we're not going to get into that because, again, I just have a 3-pound hammer, map gas, and some bricks, so I can't really do that. But yeah, that's my general thought. So I'm going to work on mocking that up. I'm just going to huck that on there and go over there to those. That's just raw compost, but it's pretty chunky. It's got a lot of grassy material in it from the mushroom compost. So we'll see how well that works. I'm going to clean it up, wire wheel it, clean up that edge a bit, and well, I won't clean up the edge because I'm going to have to hit it with a hammer, but wire wheel it, hook it on the end of that, see how well it works, and then we'll work on modifying it, and I'll show you what I did. And then if that doesn't work, we'll move on to that. So if I don't actually get to that whole explanation I gave right there, that's what you're going to have to do. Just heat that, or take that head off, grab it with some vice grips, some big thick leather gloves. You're really going to want some basic like blacksmithing tools and experience, or just drink a lot and then just wing it and try not to burn your garage down. But you're going to want to heat that guy up, put it in a vise, or put it on some sort of big heavy 90-degree thing, and then clamp it and just beat one side over. And if it looks like if it's you know, doing that rather than that, then you just flip it over and go the other way. And if it ends up off and your blade is not pointed directly down the handle, just heat this up and then just give it a little twist and just hope it all doesn't snap. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get to the actual work. Well, after some beer field engineering, we have our first prototype, and I think that angle is a little steep, but we'll take it on over to the raised beds and see if this is, you know, working how I want. All right, well, on first impression, it's a bit on the heavy side. You know, nothing horrible. I mean, that might actually be an advantage, but it's a bit front heavy. I could probably shed maybe about a third of the weight, so I think maybe taking those fins off, we'll see how it performs, would probably do it. This right here, this is a mushroom compost. A lot of organic matter. Kind of clumpy, but we'll just see how it pulls a furrow. Oh man, it's pretty nice. Definitely need to get rid of those wings, because it's really widening that furrow, but that's doing about what I want. Yeah, I mean, this fixture point on the end needs to be addressed, but for a prototype, that ain't too horrible. I think I need to fix that angle, maybe bend that about halfway out, cut those wings off, fold this thing in a little bit more. Well, fold it in before I cut the wings off, and cut this back to right about there on the mount. But for a start, that ain't bad. That is not bad at all. Let's see how it does in this sandy soil. Let me not disturb the poor ants. Oh, that's perfect. That's bang on the money pretty much. Yeah. I think just, yeah, a modification to that angle so I don't have to bend over when I do this. Trimming those top pieces so that it's not so evenly balanced, so it's got more weight on the bottom. Modifying, folding this out a little bit, taking some of the weight off. I think we might be in business. All right, now we're going to start on the fabrication. So for the time being, my first step in trying to see just how malleable this steel is, and I'm pretty sure it's high carbon and it's not going to be malleable, but we'll see. I have lag bolted it to the bottom side of a splitting block, and this is a live oak heart, so it's heavy and dense. And I'm just going to wrangle on it with this huge pair of pliers and just see if I can get any give out of it. And if I do, great. If I don't, I'm going to have to come out here with a map gas and just heat up this seam right here for a good 40 hours or so. And then come in here with a 3-pound hammer and just give it a good old smack right there. Or maybe even wrench on it with this. It'd be nice if I had something I could make into a makeshift pair of big, like 4-foot pliers, but I don't got anything. Okay, that didn't work as anticipated. My wrist hurt. So we've upgraded this like 3.5-foot pipe clamp I remembered I had. That's probably just going to rip that lag bolt out of that block because it's already cutting into the block. This is not small steel. This has some heft to it. So yeah, I'm gonna see if I cut my foot off or something now. Well, I'm not really certain if that worked or not. Definitely didn't work that way. It's gonna need heat before that bends. But I may have actually been able to put a little bit more of a bend in it, I think, actually, yeah, because this side looks lower than the other side was. So I think I can actually probably drive another lag bolt in there at an angle, and really wrench on that and get this to that 120 that I wanted. Without too much work, I think we're already pretty close. It's like 1 130 or something like that, maybe 140. So yeah, that's progress. Well, I think that's right about where I want it, angle wise. Yeah, that's about 120. I'm using the lines on my camera screen to check. So I think that's where I want it. I would like it to be pointier in the front, but because, you know, this is one stamped piece of steel and that this part right here is arched, I don't think I'm ever going to get that. I might be able to draw a point right here at the tip, but I am not going to be able to fold it right there. I might be able to get some kind of something going like that if I really heat it up and get it on a proper mandrel or something, but that's just hoping and praying. So really all I need to do now is just heat the tar out of this section right here and then just smack it right there with like a 6-pound hammer, and hope that whatever lag bolts in there don't catapult out into my jugular vein, and I hope for the best. And if not, then just get a block to put at the end of the handle, you know, just a slab of metal with a hole drilled through it, cut at like a 45-degree angle that it can stick on there. That'll force this thing to be mounted at a slight angle like that. So that is an alternative, but I'll have to key it somehow to keep it in place. I'll have to, you know, grind out a bevel on the back so it sits up against this so that it doesn't rotate and the whole thing doesn't. Anyway, you know what I mean. Well, I went after it with the 6-pound, well, 8-pounder, and things got a bit heated, so we'll just had to do a little bit of termite treatment with some brake cleaner, and bent the lag bolt. Don't know if I got any progress on bending this, but oh hey, I don't even have to undo that. Nice, convenient. Yeah, I didn't bend at all, and I think I undid all of all the work I did bending that the other way. So yeah, we're definitely gonna have to heat this up, but I at least knocked all the rust off, so there's that. Hell, I can even read the manufacturing date on there, I think. But anywho, yeah, we're gonna put the heat to this and see if we can make something happen. Okay, well that was a debacleville, but didn't really make much progress, but made a little bit of progress. Changed the angle somewhat, and I just ran her down in there with T40 lags I've got. Did not get much more bend out of it. It really does not look any different than that one. So I would strongly recommend not taking this route. But this should be good enough for my needs. I would like a longer handle at some point, but we'll see. I'll stick a piece of pipe on there or something, but I mean, it's pretty good. I'm gonna trim off those wings, sharpen it, probably take that top part off, take this guy down to here or something, and, you know, probably nick these guys right about there and see how she handles and put a better edge on it. And hopefully this should be decent for what I need it to do. Okay, I got her trimmed up now. Let's give her another go one-handed and see how it goes. Oh yeah, it's pretty good. I think that's serviceable. We'll see how it does on the sand though. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's perfect. Beautiful. Well, I think my job is done. I'm not going to go ahead and do all that stuff with the regular garden hoe, just because that was a nightmare, and I'm not looking forward to doing that. So I'm going to call it here, but just keep that in mind in case you don't have cultivator blades lying around. But anywho, I digress. If you like what I'm doing here, go down there, like the video, comment. Tell me about some other implement you know of that you can make a hand plow out of. And if you want to see more stuff like this, then you got to subscribe. So smash the big red button, and until next time, I'm out.